welcome to my channel. I am Christian Short, also known as G Capo. Check out my other music videos and material on my channel. It's very spiritual, very anti-system stuff. So if you're awakened to spiritual things and the ambience of the world and the system that we're trying to fight, don't forget to like and subscribe. Right, so this video is called Serial Killers Ranked by Their Evilness. It's a very unique concept. You know why? Because across the internet world, serial killers are somewhat revered and taken with a sort of a kind of legendary status because of their actions, right? Which I completely disagree with. A lot of the YouTube videos that you watch, they tend to almost glorify some of the serial killers into like into almost godly like characters because of the stuff that they did, and I've seen some of these videos do that. And then other ones are a little bit less showing you know, any kind of respect to these guys. But nonetheless, this is going to be a video where I ridicule them, I make fun of them, I say certain things about them that you'll never see anywhere else. But not just that, a lot of the material I've watched in the research of making this video, they never rank the serial killer by the levels of depravity and evilness to which they've stooped, right? And so what I've done in this video, I've ranked it from 1 to 10, and it's basically an account of the most popular serial killers. There's a lot more depraved fuckers out there than the ones I'm going to show you in this video, by the way. I've done some research on this, but I'm going to give you the most popular ones because they seem to be the ones that most people know. But they're not ranked in their ability to commit evil. So 1 being the least evil, and then 10 being the most depraved and the most fucking evil. Alright, so we got 3 categories here, right? We got 1 to 3, and I've termed that group of serial killers the executioners. And I call them executioners because these people, they wish to kill people very fast. Their victims never really seen it coming. And in one case, which is the first motherfucker, he killed using sedatives, and you know his victims never really saw it coming. So you'll find out who he is in a minute. So and then the second part, the second sector, which would be from 4 till 7, those are called the psychopaths. Those are people who didn't necessarily want to instill a lot of fear and pain and trauma into their victims, but their modus operandi was to kill, obviously. And they did end up giving their victims pre-warning that they're going to die, but didn't necessarily want them to suffer too much. But these are on the spur of the moment psychopathic killers who obviously don't give a flying fuck about the feelings of their victims or their families and this type of thing. Then the final sector, the final section would be the demons. That's from 8 to 10. These are your child murderers, child rapists, child torturers, and obviously killers of people too. But these guys are the demons, the spawn of Satan. Real sharp cunts, these boys, and we'll talk about them in a second. Now the first on our list is a guy called, and I know half of you fucking peasants watching this, right? When I tell you who this first guy is, you're going to say, how is this even a legitimate video? How does this guy know what the fuck he's talking about? Because this guy killed over 250 people. Obviously, relentless, prolific, psychopathic serial killer. But nah, listen to my logic in this video, right? This guy is ranked number 1 in terms of a weak evilness in his modus operandi. That was Harold Shipman, the Doctor of Death. Killed over 250 of his patients, but he killed them with anesthetics. He basically injected them. They thought they were in the care of a loving doctor, and then after he left the house, knowing he gave them a lethal dose, they would pass away gently into the night, and never knew that they wouldn't be coming back again. And the fucker did it just to, he got a lot of their will money and this type of shit, complete opportunist. But yeah, no, nonetheless, total wanker. So the next lad, we got David Berkowitz, son of Sam, terrorized New York, and he shot dead 6 people. He's number 2 on the list because he snuck up on the victims, mainly couples, sitting in their car, smooching, doing what young couples do, I suppose, and well, not compared to the young ones these days who are just as bad as half these serial killers. But anyway, so he walked up to them in the car, shot both of them in the head. Rapid deaths. He killed more than 6 people in it. His nickname was Son of Sam because Sam was his next door neighbor's dog, who he claimed to be talking to, and yeah, total fucking whack job, right? I'm putting Aileen Wuornos in there. That's the female serial killer in Florida who was a prostitute, and she robbed and shot dead her victims in the car. Don't even think they got a blowjob or nothing, but yeah, she wiped them out pretty damn fucking fast and then robbed them, and then yeah, a bit of a psychopathic bitch too, and they made a movie about her called Monster. You should check that out. Now we're going into the second category from 4 to 7 of your psychopathic crazed killers who give some pre-warning to their victims that they were going to be murdered. So first on our list here we have at number 4 Ed Gein. Now he's the inspiration for the movie Psycho that was made way back in I think it was the 12th century, but it was shot in black and white. So he a lot is not known about this guy. He was a body snatcher from graves and a grave snatcher, and he did things with bodies and stuff like that there, which I'd say at least quarter you fuckers would want to do as well. But anyway, so he robbed the graves, done stuff with their bodies, like he made belts out of nipples and this type of stuff, completely a bit not all there, kind of like my cameraman there. But anyway, so yeah, and then he shot 2 women and dismembered them in his garage, hanged them upside down with a crowbar, and did all strange things with the body and that type of stuff. But yeah, deranged psychopath, not necessarily worthy of the last group where the demons are, because you'll learn that later. But yeah, twisted fuck all the same. Also number 4 features another serial killer called Zodiac, in ways similar to Ed Gein but not quite as perverted. He is actually the biggest unsolved murder cases or uncaught serial killer things since Jack the Ripper, and there's a movie about him called Zodiac. You might want to check that out. So he shot and killed 5 people, I believe, and once he stabbed a person to death also. So, and like I say, his crimes remained unsolved, and to this day nobody actually knows who the fucker is. So yeah, he's in there with number 4, and let's see who's number 5. Next, number 5 is a guy called Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. This twisted fuck killed 49 people. That's what he's known to have killed. He's admitted to over 70. He's up in the Seattle, Washington area, and he's still in prison. And he would strangle his victims, and they were given prior warning before they would die. And then what makes this guy particularly warped was he went back to have sex with the bodies of the corpses after he dumped them. So yeah, wonder where his brain was when he was a kid. Anyway, let's see who's number 6. So next on the list at number 6 we got Peter fucking Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, from good old Merry England over there, the place where they like to beat you to death with hammers like this cunt did. But he was a Guinness drinker. That's the only compliment I'm going to give this guy. And you know what he would do sometimes? He would sit in the bar, drink his Guinness with his friend, and this is the research I done on this guy. He would get up halfway through his Guinness, maybe it was he was trying to be Irish or something, there was something in the Guinness that conflicted with his English blood and made him go out and kill somebody. Fuck knows. But anyway, so he would go out, go down some dark alley with a hammer and beat a woman to death, come back and finish his Guinness. So he killed 13 women in this fashion, but he's in at number 6 because he didn't do it. They got very little pre-warning that was about to happen. He would sneak up behind them, and they were maybe given about 5 to 6 seconds before they were beaten to death with the hammer. And which is obviously a completely horrible way to die, of course. But when you get into where we're going with number 8, 9, 10, you'll understand that this is ranked where it is. But completely horrible fucking thing to do, obviously. But yeah, he killed more than 13 women in this fashion. Died recently in prison. He lived a decent long life. I think it was 2020 or something he died. But he's in at number 6, like I said, because they didn't get a massive amount of pre-warning they were going to die. It was more of it was done and dusted pretty fast, and it was basically beat their brains in, and yeah, ended their life pretty quick without all that much torture involved. And that is the Yorkshire Ripper. And next at number 7 we have Big Jeffrey Dahmer, the pillow biter from Wisconsin. And for those of you who don't know What a pillow biter is, I'm not going to get into it because LGBT might be hammering down on this video on YouTube. You know how tolerant they are. So yeah, let's just say he did his victims before they would die would bite the pillow, or how can I get a little bit more graphic without getting too graphic? Done a bit of anal stretching. How's that? Anyway, so he killed 17 men and young boys. But the thing about Jeffrey was he killed them because he didn't want to leave the fucking house, right? He would have a nice time with them, drink and whiskey and all this kind of shit. Glad he's not here. Glad he got killed in jail. But anyway, not like I would want him in my house anyway. My cameraman might, because he was a good looking guy. But anyway, so he would get very attached to these guys. And then especially there was a young black guy he had in his house. He ended up drilling holes in his head and to put acid in to try and get this young guy to be more submissive and brain dead and not aware, like most of my friends are. So he wanted his victims to basically stay with him because he had felt some soul connection to them and all that kind of stuff. And the last victim was how he was caught, the young black guy, and he got out onto the street, blah 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 blah. And they say once you go black, you never go back. I would say Jeffrey Dahmer would ride anything that walked. So I'd say his next victim could have been white. My wife is black. I'd still ride anything that walked. So anyway, he did that and was caught. And then in jail, he was killed by a fellow inmate. But anyway, 17 men and young boys, totally twisted fuck. You got to check him out. There's a Netflix thing on him called Dahmer. Damn me, he was fucking damned. So last of this section, before we head into the demons, the spawn of Satan from 8 to 10. Last of this at number 7, there's 2 guys in this one. The first would be Jack the Ripper. This one is... this guy is probably the most talked about serial killer of all time. If you ask me, I've done a lot of research on serial killers and there seems to be a lot on this guy, simply because there was a lot of mystery surrounding what happened to him after they thought maybe was he caught or did he die or this type of shit, right? So or was he abducted by aliens and anally probed? Who knows? So Jack the Ripper up there at number 7 simply because right, I'm not trying to downgrade prostitutes or as women or anything, but if these were children, he would probably be up in the 8 to 10 bracket. But because they were prostitutes and women of the night, he just didn't cross that demon threshold. But what he did to these women, these poor women, he tied them up and sometimes slashed them with knives before they would encounter that deadly wound, which was he slit their throat from ear to ear. And after he did that, he dissected them and sometimes hang their guts over their shoulders and this type of stuff. And they suspected that this guy, they basically thought he was a doctor, and for many years they thought they were chasing down a doctor because of his obviously his knowledge and experience with knives and this type of stuff. So yeah, Jack the Ripper, 5 victims I believe, and never caught. And yeah, that was in around London, over in London now. So yeah, Jack the Ripper. Okay, last part of number 7, we've got Richard Ramirez. Don't even get me started about this clown. Also known as the Night Stalker, terrorized LA in the 70s. So this guy would break into your house, go up to the bedroom, probably just shoot you in the head or slash your throat. There was no real modus operandi in how he operated. Just a complete fucking scumbag. Whatever he thought at that moment in time was the good thing that suited you, that's what he would do. Whether it's a knife in the heart, a bullet to the head, or a dick in the... or I'll not get into it. So then he would then rob the house and kill whoever was in it randomly, indiscriminately, leave the house and then head off into the night and then do it again a couple of weeks later or whatever. And this wanker had a total victim count of 15 people, and that's how he killed them. Imagine that, just waking up to this fucking clown standing at the bottom of your bed, and yeah, He's just going to wipe you out whatever way he sees fit. And that is the Night Wanker, the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. So now we enter the demon section, the spawns of Satan. Yeah, 8 to 10. These guys torture, maim, mutilate, and they do it to children without any, how could you say, compassion, regret, or human emotion whatsoever for their victims. They're the total, what would you say? Probably just Dublin lads, really, to be honest. So, anyway, you got the first guy in this section. You got a guy called Andrea Chikatilo. Alright, so this piece of shit killed, raped, murdered, tortured 52 women and children, and he was known as the Butcher of Rostov over there in Ukraine. Thank God we're not important lads like that, hey? Not yet, anyway. So, yeah, and the interesting way he died by execution was what we should do with most of these cunts. After the trial was over, this guy was brought into a room and he was put on his knees, gun to the back of his head, and his brains were blown out his left nostril. And that's the way I would probably do it. Actually, that's a bit quick for what I would do for half of these cunts. But yeah, that's Cheeky Tilo. Alright, so the next guy, as part of number 8, the introduction to the demon section, is a guy called Ted Bundy. So this guy, the retard that he was, behaved like one to get his victims, to lure these women and children into his car. So this clown killed over 36 women and children. And the way he did it was he would look incapacitated in some way in order to gain the sympathy of his victim. So he would walk around with a crutch or with some sort of ailment, and he would then gain their trust to get them into the car, where he then proceeded to bludgeon them, take them out to a forested area or derelict place, and yeah, raped them and strangled them, unfortunately. And he was caught because he did it to a very young girl as his last victim. And this clown actually was able to fucking escape. He represented himself in his first trial for murder down there in Colorado, and he jumped from the first story building, I believe, the first story window. He was able to jump and run free and kill a bunch more people. And just goes to show that, I mean, when it comes to bagging half these clowns, the police force are, yeah, really trusted. But anyway, so Ted Bundy died in jail then of the electric chair, so his balls went on fire in the end, and that's, I suppose that's justice. So the next part of number 8, actually we're up to number 9 now, excuse me. This is the Mers murderers, up to number 9, because these people targeted children. Now we're getting into the real depraved serial killers of children. This is the Mers murderers, Ian Brady, Myra Hindley, from over there in England. So yeah, lovely bunch of serial killers, the English. I mean, lovely bunch of people, the English. So these guys, now Myra, she would lure the unsuspecting victim into the car, where Ian Brady would drive them up to the moors, and then he would rape and kill the victim, young kids. So, and he killed them in such brutal fashion that the head was almost decapacitated from the body, and those fuckers rotted in prison, and rightly so. The Mers murderers. Alright then, that time you've all been waiting for, up to number 10. The scum of the earth, the demon spawn of Satan. These motherfuckers, right? So where do I start with these lads? Let's put Lopez in there first. Pedro Alonso Lopez, or some shit how they speak down there in South America. Stick to your tacos, boys, instead of killing, because this motherfucker, he kidnapped, raped and killed over 150 children. And the sick thing about this fucker was, I think he was caught in Colombia, they only have a certain, I think it's 15 years is the maximum term he can get. So he was let out after killing all that many children. They were runaway children, street children. He kidnapped them and raped them and killed them. And yeah, Pedro Lopez. Okay, back across the water to these sick fucks, the English. I mean, these sick fucks, the English serial killers. We got now Fred and Rosemary West. Now, don't get me started on these cunts. So Fred, sick fuck that he was, even was involved in raping his own daughter. Now these guys, and Rosemary, same like the Moors murders, used to, so they were involved in all sorts of incest shit, right? And she would lure these helpless young runaway kids, girls, to come and live in the house with them sometimes and help them out and whatever. And then Fred would get involved in having sex with them, kind of like my cameraman with his home help. But and then he would end up killing them then. So, and then and burying them out in sometimes in the house under the floorboards, and then out in the garden. So they were pushing up daisies in the garden. Number of victims. So yeah, very sadly, 10 young women lost their lives to these cunts. God, if they'd done that, something like that to my daughter, I'm butchering, I'm nuking the whole fucking England for that. Alright, finally what all you peasants have been waiting for. Who's the creme de la creme? Who is the super samurai of all serial killers? Well, I've chosen this guy, and I think I have my reasons when I give you the explanation of what this fucking cunt did. It is the killer clown John Wayne Gacy up there in Chicago. So he killed over 33 men and primarily young boys. So what he would do was he was a very astute, very intelligent construction businessman, and he would lure these young boys back to his house with the promise of drink and a party and potentially a job in his construction company. And whilst in the house, after some drinks, he would dress up as a clown, because he would do some community work in schools and that type of thing, dressing as a clown. And he would first of all show the young boy or the man or whatever, his next victim, what's called the handcuff trick, where he would put his hands behind his back and ask the kid to put the handcuffs on him. And then a minute later, or less than a minute later, he would get the guy to stand in front of him, yeah. And then within a minute, he was able to have the cuffs off, and the young boy would be mesmerized by this shit. And John would say, "All right, let me try it on you. I'll show you how to do it." Then he would lock the handcuffs on the boy, and then he would say stuff like, "You stupid little fucker, you let me, you barely know me, a big guy like me, handcuff you down." Then he showed him the key, dangled the key in front of him. Then he would proceed to beat the young boy half to death, and very sadly rape him, in some cases with his head in the bath. And he would drown. And then wouldn't be enough for John. Sometimes he would need to bust 1 or 2 or 3 nuts at a time and throughout the fucking night. So he would revive this victim again and rape them again, and until they're dead, and then revive them again until, in some cases, the young boy would beg John to kill him. Beg to kill him. Now this is the total spawn of Satan. I don't know how anybody could be so depraved. And this motherfucker buried his victims under his house, then in the crawl space under the house, and would pour lime over to disguise the smell, and that would melt the bodies. And he would sit and watch the football, American football, of course. And he would sit and watch the football, drinking beers with these dead boys down underneath him. And yeah, that's the killer clown. So when you are so depraved that your victims, because you're putting them through so much torture, and that's why he's up at number 10 and Harold Shipman's down at number 1, by the way, because Harold Shipman sedated the victims or anesthetized them and put them out that way, where they didn't know their death was coming. John Wayne Gacy's victims begged him to kill them because they were going through so much physical, mental and spiritual trauma by this bastard. So yeah, total cocksucker, gay guy too. So yeah, and he had a wife and kids too. So he was a mix of everything, I suppose, but a total utter demon, and that's why he's up at number 10. John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. So I hope you enjoyed that somewhat fruitful, somewhat fucked up, somewhat attempt at a comical video about serial killers, because they're very serious. The reason why I do this is because all these other documentaries you see, whether it's on the TV or on YouTube, whatever, wherever the fuck you watch your shit, probably Pornhub, most of you. But anyway, I wanted to do something very different compared to what you're used to seeing about serial killers, which is all very solemn, very monotonous, very serious. I wanted to jazz it up a bit and call these motherfuckers for what they are, a shower of nasty cunts. Because a lot of these documentaries, they revere serial killers, they grant them some sort of a legendary status and give them some sort of respect in what they've done. I don't give them any, because if any of them ever did that, tried to do that to my wife, her kids, or my daughter, they're getting the fucking sharp end of my fucking machete, yeah? So, like I say, I hope you enjoyed the show, and tune in for more crazy ass music videos against the system, because just like these serial killers hated their victims, I hate the fucking system. Anyway, see you in the next one.